I mainly just wanted something that I could commit to and say, okay, this is my goal. And no matter how I place or how I do, at the end of this, I'm going to look better, I'm going to feel better, and I will have stayed on track with my diet and my training. So that was my initial mindset with it.
Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB Bikini Pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast.
Today's guest is someone who earned her IFBB Pro card quickly, but not without questioning herself every step of the way, which is very relatable for a lot of athletes and not often talked about. But she is not just a pro, but a business owner, a mom who is navigating ambition, identity, and at times, like we said, self-doubt all at once. And we get to learn from her journey, which shows that success doesn't always come with certainty, and that sometimes the loudest voice in the room is the one inside your own head. As she prepares for her pro debut, she is sharing the real side of bodybuilding, the balance, the pressure, the growth, the humanity behind the title. I've been really eager to talk to this woman for so many reasons. So welcome to the show, Kamilia Woosley. How
Thank
are you
you.
doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited and nervous, but more so excited.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. Like I was telling you before we started recording, like I'm just really excited to be talking with you. So before we jump into everything, is there anything you do or think about, or maybe even a ritual you have before your heel hits the stage?
So this is funny because my coach and his wife both listen to your podcast. And when I brought it up to them, the first thing she told me was like, oh my goodness, love her podcast. This is what she's going to ask you first thing. So, so be thinking about it. And I was like, oh crap. So,
I love the
um,
study
you know,
session.
I wish that I had some like glamorous, uplifting thing to say, but in all reality, I am so freaked out. Like I get completely overwhelmed with nerves to the point where I literally have to like put my headphones in. My husband is the one who goes backstage with me. So I'll put my
Oh,
headphones in, I'll turn on, my favorite music and I will like pose over and over and over to try to like ground myself or like stay in my body. like
yeah.
because I just feel like that's, okay, I can do this. I'm posing, I'm posing, I'm posing. And literally right up into the last moment of walking up on stage, I'm telling myself, what am I doing here? I don't belong
Really?
here. I don't look like these girls.
Your
Literally, like
honesty.
it's kind of crazy. It's it's self-sabotage at its best. But yeah, I'm in my head completely and my husband literally has to like grab me and be like, "Hey, stop. You are fine. You worked hard. You are that person. Go out there and show them that you are." So I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, I don't." But the moment I walk out, I like flip a switch and I turn all of that nervous energy into like, I am her, and I completely black out. Like, I don't even know what's going on when I'm on stage.
I love it.
Half the
Oh
time, I
my
can't
God.
even hear what the judge is saying to like turn or, because I'm just that nervous. So I'm doing my absolute best. And then I'll come off stage and my husband will be like, oh my God. And I'll be like, what happened? I don't know. I don't know.
Did I even do my
So
routine?
yeah, I'm like, how did it go? I don't even know where I'm at. Like, where did they move me? I completely black out because I get so nervous. But but I'm super thankful that he's there to support me and kind of guide me through that. Because if I didn't have that, I'd just be like insane, probably.
Has he been to all your shows?
Yeah, yeah. Our first show, we actually competed together, so that
Oh,
was fun,
wow.
and we both share the same coach, so that's amazing too. And then our first show that we did together, our coach was back with me before I went on stage, and he literally, like, I was so nervous. I think I made him nervous with how nervous I was. And he practically had to like push me out because I just couldn't handle it. And so we kind of, my husband was like, I'd like to go backstage with you, you know, at my next competition. And we kind of learned that that method worked a little bit better because my husband is not afraid to, like I mentioned, you know, grab my face and be like, stop, you know, stop it. So that works good because my husband stays in contact with my coach who's out in the crowd, and they'll be texting each other like, okay, does she need a, you know, does she need a rice cake? How's she looking? He'll send check-ins. And so it works really well.
Oh, that's so awesome. So does your
Yeah.
husband still compete?
No, actually he got a back injury and hasn't competed. He kind of took a break from the gym for a couple years, and he's just now starting to get back into it, but he is great and was like, you know, honestly, this worked out because he could pour all of his energy into supporting me and helping me achieve what I wanted to. So it worked out just fine.
So cool. And it sounds like he's a really great support system for you, especially
Mhm.
it doesn't sound like you necessarily um started competing so you could get on stage in front of a crowd.
No,
So
no,
so what
definitely not.
inspired that?
Um, so it's interesting because my husband, he started working out a couple years before I did, even. Like he was into the gym scene and that lifestyle way sooner than me. I was having babies. You know, I had my son and then I had my daughter 2.5 years after. And I wasn't in any shape at all. Like I felt like a potato, really. And you know, he was going to the gym, and I actually remember resenting him for going to the gym and being able to have that and feel good and look good while I was, you know, the mom at home feeling huge and postpartum and all the things. And so I kind of reached a stage where my daughter was old enough that I could feel like I could leave her for a little bit and go to the gym, which I had never had any experience in. Like I've never been athletic, really. I mean, I played sports in high school, but I wasn't super great. And so it was all really new to me and really foreign. And I remember my first workout with my coach was like super embarrassing. I could barely make it through the first workout. Um, but yeah, so he's the one who kind of got me into the scene of the gym. And then I committed to a show because number one, I thought it would be fun to do something with him together and compete together. And number two, I felt like it would kind of hold me accountable just to stay more consistent in the gym. You know, not necessarily, I want to compete, I want to go win this show, because I knew nothing about it. I mainly just wanted something that I could commit to and say, okay, this is my goal. And no matter how I place or how I do, at the end of this, I'm going to look better, I'm going to feel better, and I will have stayed on track with my diet and my training. So that was my initial mindset with it. Very inexperienced. I knew nothing. So
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like it was really it was like that carrot in front of you that was like, hey, this is
right.
me doing what I need to do versus,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing this. I love to do this, so I'll compete.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I do well under pressure. And I think that competing and committing to that gave me that extra pressure that I needed to stay consistent. And I felt like either way, it's a win-win, right? It's like, I'm going to go compete and I may not win or do well, but at least I can say I did it. And guess what? I've lost this weight and I look good. And so that was kind of my outlook on it.
Did you have a far way to go when you started?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I was fresh out of having 2 kids, and I mean, I had no physique at all. Honestly, like I look back at pictures and I was just postpartum, and that's normal, right? Like you're postpartum, you're not, I mean, some girls can come out of having babies and look fantastic, but not me. I didn't. I was pretty square, square bodied and no muscle because I'd never trained before. So I started from like bottom of the barrel. Yeah.
When did you go, I actually like this and want to keep doing it? Because, like, to be fair, you did 3 regional shows before you won your pro card at your first national show. That's a big deal. Like, that's a very intense progression. So when did you go, I like this enough to keep doing this?
I'd say probably after the first show, because I went in with no expectation that competition and ended up doing fairly well, my first competition. And so we immediately after that started planning for the next, and we competed at the same competition the next year. So, and then it just kind of took off from there because I did really well at that one. I made it to the overall at the Samson, which by the way is a great show. We love the Samson. Made it to the overall. I know he's awesome. He's always been super nice and, make sure to acknowledge me when he sees me and on Instagram and stuff. So, love that show and love that I got to do that as my first kind of experience. But yeah, I did really well there. Made it to the overall, didn't take the overall, but still made it to the overall, which for me was a big win. And then my coach was like, I think we should, if you're open to it, let's consider the Cutler. Another awesome show, did really good there, made it to the overall again. Didn't take the overall there either. But I remember something that another girl who was competing, her coach actually said to me on the way out. She goes, hey, don't be bummed about the overall. She goes, yeah, the overall is great, but, go to the national, get your pro card. The overall doesn't determine your pro card. So that was uplifting to me because I was super bummed. I'm like, I really wanted that. I was so close again and I didn't get it. So
I know that feeling, like when you get this high, like, oh wow, I just won in my open class, like I'm first, and you're immediately back, you're lined back up, and then you don't, and you're like, I don't want that to take away from the win that I just had.
I know. Oh, it was such a bummer too because I wanted to win it so bad, like for my coach more so than myself, because he's, he put in so much time and effort and patience with me. And, the first time it was like, we just barely missed it. I was one off from the overall. And the second time it was really close too. And I was like, I remember telling him like, I'm so sorry I didn't get it. Like I really wanted to get that for him. But, in the grand scheme, we went to nationals shortly after in Las Vegas and got the pro win. So it was like, well, we just needed to be patient.
And that the friend of yours, the coach to them, wow, they knew they must have seen it in you, like, hey, it didn't matter that you didn't win the overall because
right. Yeah, I thought that was super nice of her. Yeah.
Did you have a feeling going into USA's that like, I could get my pro card? No.
I don't know. I think that was probably the goal, right? Like that's the goal, because realistically, I was talking with my coach and his wife, and we're like, okay, what's our plan? Like, do we want to go into USA's and like, is your plan to get your pro card this season? Do you want to just compete once and kind of see how it is like at a national level? Or are you going to do like back-to-back national competitions to try to get it? And I'm like, well, yeah, like that's the goal. I'd like to get it. I'm already in really good shape. I don't want to start over kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I hope I get it because I'd like to kind of take a break because I had been prepping for almost a year. Like I started prep for that first show last year in September, the year prior. So we were almost a full year of prepping and competing. And I was just tired. My body was tired. My mind was tired. So I was hoping I would get it. And then I got there and was completely like, I felt like I was just in another world because the difference in everyone there looked phenomenal. And you can tell that they've been doing this. They were well seasoned, right? And I'm new to this. I go in and I'm like, I haven't been doing this very long, and I have massive respect for these women that have done it and know what they're doing and look phenomenal and have mature muscle and their posing's on point. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Get me out of here. Like, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the challenges too as an athlete in this sport. Like, it's the looking around, because we can't deny that this is a sport of comparison. That's how you
Oh
win.
yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. You go up there and
Yeah.
they're literally judging you against each other, right? So of course you're gonna look. And I just, everyone there, I thought, and I even told my husband this literally in the line before we walked up or before I walked up on stage. I looked at him and was like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Get me out of here. And he's like, stop it. Like, go out there and do your thing. So
that self-doubt was pretty pervasive throughout most times before you went on stage. Did it change after you won your pro card? Did it dissolve, or do you still feel some of that?
I still feel it. And it may be something that I always feel, but maybe that's just, the silver lining in that is that I have that self-doubt, and then I get a surprise at the end when I do well, right? It's like, oh, I didn't expect that,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that's just kind of innate within me to be, I always err on the side of, it might not be as good as the others, but I'll work on it.
I think that's a good reframe for that. And in general, like, there's certain maybe mental blocks we each come up against, and or others might consider mental blocks, that we can go, well, actually it served and serves me in these ways. Like, I imagine there's part of that also encourages you to push harder.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that, and too, like, I think half of my battle is I don't ever think that I've reached the level of where I want to be, right? And I think maybe a lot of other people can agree with that feeling. It's like it's like, oh, now I look good and feel good. Oh shoot, my dog's broken. Sorry. I look good, but I don't quite look like this. I want to look better. I want to improve this. I want to improve like right now I'm hyper focused on my glute tie-in. So it's like, oh, my glute tie-in's not good enough. So I'm gonna keep working on that. And then once I get that, it's gonna be something else and something else and something else.
Oh.
But the benefit to that is you're always improving and always striving for something more. You don't get content, stagnant.
That's right. I think that's probably one of the main benefits or beauties of this sport too, is you really it's almost impossible to ever find contentedness in it,
right?
Or complacency,
especially as the sport evolves. Like, I have a really good friend, and she competed years ago. I want to say in like 2018 is when she was competing, and I might be wrong. She's going to listen to this and be like, but she sent me videos, and I can even tell just from then how different the criteria was then compared to now. And I think the sport will always be forever evolving, so if you don't have that mindset, you're probably going to get lost in the dust, because it's growing and changing all the time.
What do you think of where bikini's at now?
I mean, I love it. I think it's great. I think it's great, especially with the new fit model. I think that it creates a good divide there, and I love it. I'm happy with it.
Good. Yeah, I think back to 2018, like, that was like, I felt like that was my like golden era of bodybuilding. Like, I loved it. Yeah, for me, I love that. That was like, Angelica was the reigning champion. I was so like in awe of her and her development, her muscle, the shape, everything. And it was interesting how a lot of the top competitors that year ended up, doing well over the next few years, becoming Olympians or Miss Bikini Olympia champions as well. So yeah, I love the 2018 look, but I also think it's changed a lot in a lot of different ways over the years. So it's been interesting to see how those demands have changed. I'm curious how the fit model division might create,
Hmm.
more strict lines or
Yeah.
adherence to criteria too.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely puts, I don't know, like I feel like it puts a little bit more, I don't know if pressure is the right word on the bikini class, but there is, in my opinion, a drastic difference between the two. And from my observation, and again, I'm very new to all of this, so who knows how accurate my observation is, but um, I just noticed a lot of bikini competitors that would have probably fallen into the fit model category versus what the actual like expectation is for bikini. So I'm happy that they created that division for that separation because there is a drastic difference to me. So
Yeah, and I'm also really curious to see what the judges like, who of the pro league is going to be judged and told, hey, I actually think you would be a great pro fit model representation. Like
right.
that's something I'm like, I wonder how
Hmm.
many pros are going to maybe in that, I don't know yet. And then a judge might say, you should go to fit model. And what's that going to
Right.
teach amateur fit model or amateurs who are
Right.
just kind of exploring bikini? So I agree with
Right.
you, though, if you're not willing to adapt, yeah, you'll be left behind.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm happy in that regard because I'm never in my mind I'm never where I want to be.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's right.
so it works.
It's very motivating. Yeah, actually I
Yeah.
hadn't heard a lot of people say the perspective on how it could put more pressure on the bikini category, but you're right.
Hmm.
I didn't think about it like that. It really does create a more, is our expectation now.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and you're heading into your pro debut this August, right?
Yes, yeah. So we actually were kind of teetering. We talked about May in Pittsburgh. We actually saw that Tahoe was in August, and my coach and I talked about Tahoe a little bit even last season about how cool it would be to go compete out there. Um, so we decided on that, and I'm happy with that because it gives me a little bit more time to build um, and just for my mental too. Like I feel like I just had such a long prep season last time that I'm like, okay, I just want to kind of have a little bit of a break, not stress so much. And then when it's time to lock in, we'll lock in. So yeah, that's what we're shooting
Right.
for.
If you've ever struggled in your prep or your improvement season or any transition phase in this sport, you know how valuable it is to have that direct guidance and support, but it's so difficult to find, which is exactly why I created the on-demand mindset coaching platform for competitors. That is only $9.99 per month. How it works is you log into the system and you select what season you're in, and then you're prompted to select a struggle you're facing, and then even more specific struggles branching off of that. And at your fingertips, you will be given direct guidance and support with a PDF resource as well as video trainings. And you have tons of access to years of group coaching calls that you're more than welcome to replay and watch, and you get access to a live group coaching call every single month. So you're not only getting support at your fingertips, but you're also getting an incredible community there to support you along your journey. If this is something you're interested in learning more about and exploring, you can sign up at www.celestial.fit/on-demand and get access to this right away. There are no other join fees or cancel fees, so you can come and go as you please, and you are always welcome to be in the Build More Than Just a Body community.
Love that. I think it's better to
Mm-hmm.
have more time than feel like on edge about it.
Yeah. Oh, totally. And I don't want to be naive, to the fact that I'm sure the pro level is much different than what I've experienced and what I'm used to. And I don't want to jump right into it. I want to give myself as much time to grow and improve and build as I can so that I can have a good experience with it. My worst nightmare would be to go and be like the one out of the group that looks like they don't, belong. That in my mind, I'm like, I never want to be that. So the more time to prep and build and prepare, the better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, always. And totally transparently, because I can definitely say this. from the athletes I've spoken to, they've had a much better experience at Tahoe than they have at the Pittsburgh show. And
Oh, really?
oh yeah, and I'll be
Okay,
so
good to know.
honest, like I did not have a good experience at the Pittsburgh show.
No
I hope that
way.
yeah, I hope that they changed it. I used to be apprehensive about saying this stuff on air, but now I'm not.
Yeah, this
It's
is
never a good
no,
experience.
remember, this is confessions, all right? There
Exactly.
is no filter here. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll be so real. Like, did not have a great experience at Pittsburgh. I felt like they really brushed the athletes off. Even the pros felt,
Really?
oh yeah, like I waited all day to go back on stage, and they never told us that only top five would be going on stage. Waited all day, got
You're
there.
joking.
Oh, seriously,
Oh,
dead serious. All, hundreds of us, and got in line to be glazed because we got called up by our class. Okay,
yeah.
now you can go get glazed. As you're in line to get glazed, he says, "Oh, you're not getting on stage." I'm not even kidding. All day I could have been with my family, and then not only did I realize this was happening to us amateurs, but it was happening to the pros too. So many
Oh
were pissed.
no,
It was awful. Now I
I
don't know.
bet. And you're
Yeah,
already exhausted. Like the event itself is exhausting. Like honestly, the week leading up to the event is exhausting. And then, so if I would have been very upset too.
yeah.
So it's
Now
good to
I'm
know
like,
this.
uh-huh. Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
I'll die on this hill now. Like I hope that it turns around. If it turns around, I can change what I say about the show. I can change what I say about that and say, hey, it sounds like it's better. But until things change, terrible. I don't
Yeah.
recommend it. And
Uh,
unfortunately, people bought like packages from Gilco, who incredible. Love Gilco, love what they do.
yeah.
And they didn't to have their finals package fulfilled because of that. And I think that's really messed up.
Wow. Yeah. I
I feel bad
agree.
even for Gilco. I don't know how that affected their
Yeah.
business. And I really don't know how it affected their business. So no one hold that against me. I really don't know. But I just think about that. And but I've also not done Tahoe, but I've heard such great things about Tahoe and all the pros. Like imagine you make it in to the top five and you're on that
I know.
boat. Like
I know.
that's
I know that's
that's
I literally
what.
was telling my husband this the other day. I was like, you know what? We weren't going to go in with any goals. We were just going to go in and have fun, but now we have a goal. And the goal is top five because I want to be on a boat. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
So
Isn't Tahoe?
that is the goal
Yeah, and isn't it pretty well known for? I could be wrong about this, but isn't it good for like motocross too? Like
in
there's
Tahoe.
opportunity there. Yeah, because there's a lot of
Uh,
mountains, right?
yeah, I don't know. And that might be a different kind of like division for moto. Because
I'm
there's
not.
several different types, but but yeah, no, I don't know. My kids do like just normal like track racing, but there are other like enduro or desert or whatever. I don't know. But
That's
but
awesome.
I used to live in Reno, which is fairly close to
Oh,
Tahoe. So I've been in Tahoe, love Tahoe. And my coach's wife, Kenzie, she's a great friend of mine, and she's competed in Tahoe. So when I mentioned it, she was like, "Oh my goodness!" She's like, "You have to do it." I had the best time. So we're like, "Okay, we're gonna commit to that one. That gives us a little bit more time to build. It'll be a fun experience. It'll be pretty, and maybe we can make a little bit of a trip out of it, because it'll be summertime, and so we'll maybe try to vacation a little while there." So
with your family, like everybody.
we'll probably just do my husband and I, and probably my brother too. He lives with us, and my kids will stay back with my in-laws. We're fortunate enough to have them live here and babysit whenever we need them to, honestly. So kids will stay.
Good. Yeah, that sounds
There's no
awesome.
there's no room on the yacht for the kids.
Sorry, y'all. How we didn't make the cut. They
I
designed
know.
the boat.
I know.
That's that's awesome. What do your kids
Yeah.
think about bodybuilding?
They I mean, I think it's kind of all they're used to, honestly. Like I started like I mentioned, my husband's done this for longer than I have, but I started into this when my daughter was pretty young, and so that's just kind of all they know us to do or be involved with. Like my daughter, when I'm posing or anything related to show prep. She's like, I want to try, she'll be like, Mom, can I do a posing video? So she'll set the phone up and she'll do it. She'll run through it. I'm like, for 7 years old, that's pretty good.
That's so awesome. She's been watching.
Yeah. Yep. She's really good. She can do her front pose and she knows how to transition to her back pose and hold it. And, I was really impressed. Yeah, she did great. And my son, he's so funny. We were at a friends get together a few months ago and he had met these new kids. And like the first thing he does is grabs these kids and comes up to me and goes, Mom, tell these boys that you're a pro. You're a pro, right? So they're really proud. Yeah. So that's a fun feeling to know that they're proud and can see that example of discipline and consistency and how that pays off in the end. So.
Wow. Oh, I love that. Is that kind of what you want them to learn from watching you pursue this?
Yeah, definitely. I think that if anything, they can look back and go, my mom, she did a lot. She tolerated us. And no, but I just want to, I just want them to be able to look back and be proud, and say, yeah, consistency and dedication and hard work. And no matter what it is, it doesn't have to be bodybuilding. It could be their job or whatever, I think it's important to set that example. And I'm super happy that I'm able to do that with something that I truly enjoy doing. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the fact that they're so proud of you, does that like fuel a lot of your day-to-day efforts?
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to have just embody that, because I feel like as a parent and even, I don't know, anybody that has kids in their lives, I feel like it's an accomplishment to be able to set an example. I'm setting an example. Not only am I taking care of these kids the best that I know how, because this too is my first time taking care of humans, but I'm able to set an example for them to help them later on in life. And I feel like that's the goal, set your kids up so that they know how to function when they're older, right? Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
So as long as they can stay consistent and dedicated to whatever it is that they choose to do, that's the goal.
Do you ever see the way that you have displayed bodybuilding and your consistency in that? Do you ever see that reflect in their commitments to moto or anything else?
I definitely with my son. Yeah, my son for sure. My daughter, she's something else. She's very bossy and changes her mind on everything all the time. But my son, yes, he is passionate and committed to moto. Loves it, eat, sleep, breathes it. That's his thing. Wow. And he gets knocked down and he gets back up and tries harder. And so, yeah, I definitely see him mimicking the same kind of things that we've tried to show him. Yeah, so I'm thankful for that. My daughter, I don't know, she might still just be a little too young to exhibit that, but for sure in him. So I'm thankful for that.
That's super cool. Yeah, I remember growing up, a teacher made my mom come to the classroom. And she's like, "Your daughter is a little bit directive," and my mom was like, "You can say bossy." And we know she's bossy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, well,
honestly, yeah, exactly. I know. And I joke about it all the time. I'm like, I'd rather her be headstrong and bossy and know what she wants and not afraid to say it. That if I had to pick, that's what I'd pick. So, I mean, it's hard in the moment, but yeah, but it'll come in handy later on. I'm sure, hopefully it'll be either, have you seen that quote where it's like, my daughter's either going to be a CEO or in prison. It's one of the two. I'm leaning more towards CEO, hopefully, right?
That's right.
Either way, I'll be there and I'll be supportive.
Oh, you're so cute. I love that. That's awesome. I think that's so wonderful. I mean, of course, too, like you're a great example no matter what. And you and your husband are living in a way that's showing them what's possible and what they can do, and you're supporting them as well. And I think that that's a beautiful thing because it sounds like you've got the support of your in-laws, and to have that as well
Hmm.
as just the support of other people, it goes such a long way.
Yeah. Oh, it does. Yeah. It definitely takes what do they say? It takes a village, right? And
Yes.
it does. And it does. And you know what? And sometimes people don't have the village and they do it themselves and they are the village. And that's great too.
Wonderful. That's right.
Yeah. Hmm.
So, some moms express this feeling of guilt when they're prioritizing their goals. You had mentioned
Hmm.
earlier too, you had this that was when you got into the gym, you're like, this is the first time I'm stepping away from my daughter for
Yep.
this. And did you ever experience the guilt or this feeling of like, gosh, maybe my goals need attention, but my family does too?
Yeah. I think um, and honestly, in general, not even necessarily focused on more so bodybuilding or training or competing. I would just say generally speaking, like I go to bed at night and I'm like, I should have been more present. I should have been more patient. I should have, all these things. So yeah, I'm always extra hyper aware of that. And I always feel guilty for one reason or another. But from what I've researched, because I will research, like I'll be like, it's like 11:30 at night and I'll chat GPT, like, is this normal to have these thoughts,
Yeah.
but I think that just being aware of it in itself means that you're doing a good job. And I would say just especially with the competing and the training and the dieting and the stress and the irritability and all the other things that you're trying to manage if you are a competitor thinking about being one, just to make an extra effort to be present, right? Like, I'm going to put the phone down. I know I'm mentally fried. I know I'm hungry and tired, and I'd like to doom scroll, but I can't. I'm going to put the phone down. I'm going to sit down with my kids. We're going to talk about their day. I'm going to, go for a walk. We're going to, something like that. Just be intentional in being present. That's what I try
No,
to do, anyways. And I don't win every day. Like, there's days where I'm like, yeah, I was completely checked out today and I'm going to do better tomorrow. But I try to be as good as I can, anyways.
that's really good insight because sometimes it's hard to decide like where your energy goes when everything feels
Yeah.
important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But at the end of the day, for me, no matter what, the kids have always been number one. That kids trump everything. They trump work, they trump competing. So I try to be present with them and put them first in all of life. And now my cat's in here, so I apologize. I have a zoo. I have a
I
zoo.
don't hear any of the
But
zoo around. Like,
oh,
I would
good.
not believe
I'm so glad. I'm like, my cat's in here yapping. I'm like, so sorry.
yeah, the noise cancel on your headphones are great then
Right.
because I haven't heard the Frenchies, I haven't heard the cat.
Nothing.
You get
Oh,
no.
okay, good.
So put your mind at ease. Like
Okay.
I've heard zoo.
Uh,
So great. Well, okay, so I want to kind of expand on that point because I think it's it's difficult at times to know if we're doing the right or the best thing. And I like how you
right.
put that. Is like we're always gonna feel like, oh, maybe there should be more here or there. And I like how you said you just try to be better the next day.
Hmm.
How do you structure your days when you are balancing being a wife and a mom and training and running your cleaning company?
Oh man, honestly, and again, I'll circle back to my first comment with my pre-show ritual or before I get on stage, and I wish that I had this system where I could be like, I start every morning with meditation, and if you do that, great, love that for you. I don't have much of I just kind of wing it and try my best. I feel like I have so much going on from every angle, that I try to be proactive and get ahead of whatever I can get ahead of that day so that I don't feel like I'm drowning. Right. So I'll start the day, and I actually like one example is I used to go to the gym at 9 o'clock, right? So 9 a.m., which kind of created chaos for me and the kids in the morning because I'd get the kids up. And a lot of the times I would wake up with the kids and then I'd be getting them ready for school. And then I'd be getting myself ready. And I'm like, I got to get out the door to get to the gym on time. And you guys are not tying your shoes and putting your jackets on, you know? And
Yeah.
so I switched my gym time to 5 a.m., which was really rough at first. But I did that so that I could go to the gym, get all my stuff done, and get home and wake the kids up and have a leisurely morning, you know, no stress. I can be fully present with them and not trying to rush out the door myself, right? So that actually set the tone for my days 10 times better than what I was doing. Do I lose sleep? Yeah. Could I go to bed earlier? Yeah. But that helped a ton. And then the day from there, just kind of, like I said, I try to be proactive and get ahead of what I can get ahead of. I have, at this time, I've got 8 employees that I manage, a ton of clients. I don't know what the number is right now, hundreds at this point of clients that I'm managing as well. And just trying to balance. It's like some days I'm like, I did really great at work today, but I was kind of checked out for the kids or vice versa. You know, it's like nothing is ever perfect. I'm always doing this. It's like, oh, I did really good here today. Not so much here. It's a juggling act all the time.
That's so much more refreshing to hear, though, than I always have everything together
Yeah.
all the time. Like, and
Right.
you know, like,
Yeah.
I think
No.
most successful people, like,
Yeah.
it's not like that every day.
Yeah. And honestly, like some days I'll get the kid, like I'll go to the gym and I'll get the kids off to school and I'll just be tired and not want to do anything. And I will turn on a documentary and binge watch that. And that will be my day. You know, it's like sometimes we have to do some self-care and check out mentally because it gets to be too much. But if we can, for the most part, stay consistent and just keep working towards that goal or whatever it may be, then that's a win. You don't have to be 100 every day with everything.
Right. Like I like to think of it like a threshold. Like what's going to allow the threshold to be met, to be pushed, to maybe be grown. And that doesn't mean constantly butting up against it and pushing and pushing. It means like, okay, we push a little, we refuel, we push more, we refuel,
Right. Right.
find like what helps us to have the highest threshold with great output and not as much sacrifice.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I've definitely had to learn that. And I've learned that and enjoyed that approach a little bit better even since I started getting more serious about training and competing. Because adding that into the, you know, my schedule in life was already pretty full before I added that to it.
Right.
And so I kind of had to be like, all right, like I cannot operate at 100% every day. Like I will burn out. And I burnt out really quick. And then everything kind of starts lacking. You know, you reach that point of burnout and then everything's just kind of struggling. So I've really worked on taking those days or just being more forgiving, you know, with myself and with everything else, my kids, my husband, my work, everything. You just have to kind of take it as it comes and not try to be perfect with all of it all the time. Otherwise, you're just going to lose your mind. So
that's a really good example of like boundaries that are really essential for keeping like business and life running smoothly. Do you have any other systems or things that you really are like, okay, I'm glad that I have this consistent here because it helps me in performing?
I mean, I would just say, I mean, I don't know. I think something, and this may or may not answer your question, right? But one thing that I'm super grateful for that allows me to maintain consistency is my setup with the gym and the coach that I have. Like, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't be consistent. And I know that for a fact. Like, my coach has become a really good friend of mine and his wife, and they own their own gym here in St. George. It's called Iron Titans Fitness. And it's like, it's a private gym. You don't go in and feel like it's like, and excuse me for this term, but like, I feel like a lot of public gyms are a meat market. Like you go in and you're being like watched and looked at. And, you know, I don't like that. Like, I like to go in, I like to do my workout. I like to not have to wait for equipment. You know, that's the beauty of the gym that I go to. They have an awesome setup. I get to see my coach, and he tailors my training to whatever he feels like I need to be working on for the goals that we set. And it's amazing. And if I did not have that setup, I know that my consistency and routine I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't, because I wouldn't be able to go to a public gym and stay consistent. And I wouldn't have that extra accountability over me because, like I mentioned, I do really well under pressure, right? So my coach, I see every day. So it's like, I don't want to let him down.
Doing hip thrusts and you're like, oh, he's definitely.
I know, I'm like, oh shit, I should add just some more weight to this. But no,
he's like, hand tie. You're like, I know.
Yeah. I know. It's great though. It does, that to me has really been the driving factor I feel like, to my success, because the opportunity that I've had there with him, where I feel so aligned and comfortable, and the gym, and it's just more of like a private setting, and I have that one-on-one. It's been great. So yeah, I would say that is something. Hopefully that answered the question. Okay.
Oh yeah. No, that really did. That's what I was curious about, was like, what are those things that just help you to stay in that zone? So yeah, as far as your business goes, so it sounds like you've got a lot of clients. You're managing 8 employees. That's amazing. So talk to us about Pristine Shine Home Cleaning and what inspired that.
Yes. So Pristine Shine Home Cleaning, it's kind of a fun story, or maybe I just think it's fun because it's my story. But, you know, like I mentioned, I had 2 kids kind of close, you know, 2.5 years, I feel like is fairly close. And so I wasn't working. I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. My husband was working full time. And I'd kind of reached that point in that chapter where I was like, all right, I am going stir crazy. I need to do something. I can't do this anymore. Like, I was struggling with depression and just didn't feel great. So I'm like, I got to do something. So I actually was putting in applications for different jobs, and my husband's boss actually had reached out and was like, hey, like, I'd love to come. Me and Cody would love to, my husband's Cody. Me and Cody would love to come talk to you. Like, don't go apply anywhere. Like, let me talk to you about some ideas that I have for you. So they came over, and he's like, I think you'd be really good at running a business, specifically a cleaning business. He's like, your house is always in pristine condition. And I'm like, oh, I don't know the first thing about business. I have no idea what to do. I've never considered that for myself. He's like, well, let me help you get started. And he did. He helped me get started. And, you know, my goal at first, when I first started the business for home cleaning, was to just help other people, because I know how stressful it is to take care of kids. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, it's stressful. Like, it's stressful to take care of the kids and keep the house up. Like, that's a lot. The house alone is a full-time job, in my opinion. So that was kind of my mindset. You know, I wanted to be helpful to other people that needed it, because I knew what that feeling was like. But yeah, we set a goal, you know, let's try to get like 3 clients a week. And once you do that, you'll be sitting pretty. And fast forward, we're approaching 7 years this July, and I'm running 2 crews, and each crew is cleaning between 4 and 6 homes a day. So that's like on average 10 to 12 houses a day that we're doing. Yeah, I mean, we've done really well. Yeah, it's been great. So it was just kind of like one of those things, like a full circle moment where you're like, wow, that was like, had he not approached me with this idea and been like, I think you'd be really good at this, you should try it. Like, I don't know where I'd be at this point. It just blew up and took off.
That's incredible. So do you mainly serve in St. George?
Yep. So St. George and surrounding areas here. But St. George is a booming community too. So that's why it's been awesome, because so many people are moving here. This city is, I don't know if you're familiar with St. George, but it's amazing here. It's beautiful, amazing. There's so many sights to see and things to do and new
Yeah.
houses going up all the time. And so it's worked out.
Oh, that's so awesome. I think to start a business, it's courageous. It's an endeavor, right? So when did you
Hmm.
start to really see and believe like, wow, I'm glad because I know it probably wasn't easy at the start. So when did it start to go, oh, this is good. I'm glad to be doing this.
Oh man. What, honestly, business is an uphill battle. It just is. I think that any small business owner can relate. When I first started, a lot of people told me like the threshold or like the goal is like if you can make it 5 years, then you're good. The first 5 years is the hardest with business. And I learned that very quickly because I quickly gained more clientele than I could handle by myself and that I needed to hire. Um, hire for other girls to work under me. And I had never managed before. I don't know how to manage. I have no idea how to do that. I just know I know how to do what I'm doing. Right. So all of it from start to current has been a learning curve, learning how to manage, learning how to, customer relations, the bookkeeping side of things, the taxes, the payroll, the profit to loss, the expenses, all of it. It's been an uphill battle. I think that probably maybe a year in, I started saying, "Oh wow, this has become a lot more successful than I even imagined," and it's just continued to grow. But I think for anybody that has a successful business, they have to, number one, be good at what they do. And number two, be friendly and open and good communication with the clients. And then number three, be able to train your employees so that they can mimic what you do. So I've
That's
learned all of
right.
that.
Oh, that's incredible. Were you a one-woman show before? Like, were you going to these houses and cleaning by yourself?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. And I
Did
don't
you
do
just,
that.
now you don't even do it.
No. Uh-uh.
That's awesome. You're just running a show now.
Yeah, I have to because it kind of got to the point where I was working with the girls and I did work with my girls for quite a while until it got to the point where I was like, I am on the phone a lot. So I'm not even really that big of an asset to the team as far as labor goes. And two, I started getting pretty good burnout because, I'd go work all day long and then I'd spend hours in the evening when that was supposed to be my family time doing the back end stuff that I couldn't do during the day. Right. So I'd have to do the scheduling, the billing, the bookkeeping, the supply runs, the washing the rags, all of that. And it was just, it consumed all of my time and I didn't have any time for my kids or my husband, right? So at the end of the day, the goal was to get my business sustainable so that I could have free time and be present. And we did that relatively quickly. It's worked out.
That's right. Yeah, you're working on your business, not in your business, as they say.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
really cool. That's
Yeah.
very, very great and a wonderful success story, very inspiring too. I'm like, wow, what a legacy too you could be leaving for your family if they chose to, or if you
Yeah.
ever sold it or whatever might that
I
future
know.
look.
Yeah. And that's honestly like, I, none of this was ever like a planned goal. Like I never saw this to be what it was, right? Like I just started it and was like, yeah, I'll clean some houses. Yeah, I can do that. Like that'll bring us in some extra income. And no, I never saw this to be what it was. It kind of just morphed as it did naturally. And now I look back and I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like, yeah, if I do end up wanting to sell the business down the road, or I can provide my daughter with a job one day, or my son if he wants to, or whatever. Either way, it's beneficial. And I kind of just naturally developed it without a plan. It just kind of turned into that. So we got
Um,
lucky.
oh yeah, absolutely. And are most of your clients residential?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say most of them. I'd say probably about 80% of our clients are residential. Like So we clean for them on a regular basis and maintain their house, every week or once a month. And then the others are like commercial buildings, like office buildings, or move in or move out clean. So we kind of do a wide variety of cleaning.
Very cool. That's super great. Well, I love hearing these stories because they're very inspiring, and it's like a great reminder too that something bigger than we could even imagine could come from something
Yeah.
that just little idea.
Yeah. And just staying consistent, right? Like, so like I would say like my business and the bodybuilding, same kind of thing. It's like I went into the bodybuilding scene with no knowledge, no expectation, but just stayed consistent to what the tools I was given, and ended up in the position that I am now fairly quickly just by staying consistent and just doing it. So for me, I've been lucky in that regard, with the outcome. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are still working at it and have been consistent for a long time. And that's all I'd say is just keep doing it, because eventually it's going to pay off, whether it's in a year or 5 years or whatever. As long as you stick with it, the reward will be good.
Well, actually, I'm glad you said that because my next question was going to be your best advice for someone who's never competed before but wants to, as well as your best advice for someone on their road to pro. So
Oh,
that,
yeah. Yeah.
that might,
That's what I
might
say.
be
Yeah.
it, but
Right.
is there
Yeah. I'd
anything to
say
add to that?
consistency is probably at the top of the list, with both, someone that's on the road or someone that is thinking about it. And again, I don't ever want to, like, I'm always in my head thinking, like, who are you? Like, who do you think you are? Uh, Telling people these things, because I'm still really new to all this. I don't know all of the things, but I do know what I've experienced, and consistency. Even if that's like not 100%, even if you're like 75% this day and get back on the wagon the next day, for me, that's what I've done. I just keep working towards the goal, even if it's not 100 one day. And just, I think too, like educating yourself. If you are thinking about getting involved in the sport, educate yourself on what it entails entirely,
Mhm.
not just, oh, I want to get in a really beautiful suit and show off my muscles. I think
Right.
you need to educate on how much time it takes to get to where you want to be, the posing, the training, picking the right coach, all of that. There's so much more that goes into it than that. And I think even I'm guilty of not knowing that in the beginning. And then
Yeah.
just being patient, probably just patience and time, and knowing that it takes time. You're not going to like crash diet in 4 weeks and lean out. like it takes so much time, so much. And then all of a sudden it does start happening. But again, consistency and patience. So yeah, that's what I'd
I love
say to all blocks of competitors.
That's so good. And you're such a great example of that in the different areas of your life too. And I'd love for people to be able to follow your journey, especially as you gear up for your pro debut, and connect with you, maybe even inquire about hiring you too or working with you in some
Yeah.
way. So how can they do all those things?
Yeah. So our business, honestly, we primarily post on Instagram, and our business is pristineshine.cleaning on Instagram. You can find us there. And then my personal Instagram is Kamilia Lay .IFBB Pro. And I was just on my personal Instagram today, and I'm like, athletes are going to look at my page and be like, this isn't really like the normal typical athlete page, because I have a lot of,
Moto.
mom stuff, and yeah, like
Mhm.
moto and, mom friend stuff. Like lately, I've been really enjoying posting about my adventures with my best friend. And, I try to just share all of it. My page isn't primarily fitness and competing. It is a little bit, and I'm sure it will pick up more as the season approaches. Um, but yeah, I share a little bit of all of that. So yeah, I'd love to have you come along for the ride.
That's something that I actually really like about your Instagram and like about your style and approach is that you are sharing a variety of things. It's clear your life
Mhm.
isn't just bodybuilding, and that was a big part of why I was excited to have you
Oh,
on.
good,
Honestly,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome, of course. So we'll put those details in the show notes page. You guys, that's always on celestial.fit/podcast. If you're listening in the future, scroll down to the category section, which is alphabetized. Otherwise, it'll be at the top of the page. And if you would like to, please leave a rating or review. Anything that supports the show, like that goes a long way. A comment even on YouTube. It's really nice, not just for the show to get to more athletes, but also for the athletes themselves who come on the show. Message us, let us know what you think, because it's so sweet when you come on and you share openly and someone admires that or says something. So I can't tell you how many times I get messages from athletes who say, wow, I can't believe this person who listened reached out to me. It's like one message can make a big difference. So thank you guys in advance for doing that. And aside from that, thank you guys for listening today. Hope y'all have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening to this episode. Just make it awesome.